What's up, everyone, and welcome to Making Finances Sexy. I'm Jessica Lay, your Rent Rave owned realtor and certified instructor with the company 101 Financial right here in the Valley of the Sun. My mission is to help you move from renting to homeownership, no matter your current situation. I'm here to be your personal finance coach and first-time homebuyer specialist. And with me, as always, Rose Short.
Hey guys, Rose Short here, aka the Red Queen. Come down the rabbit hole with me. I'm a realtor here in the Phoenix Valley, as well as a financial consultant and CEO of Kronikaluxury. It's my mission to help you build multiple income streams, live that dream life, and really just enjoy the life you have.
Whoop, whoop. And today I'm excited to talk about building financial trust and how to communicate about money, which no one likes to talk about for some reason.
We don't. We don't like talking about it in relationships to other people. We need to get more comfortable talking about money, and we just are not there yet.
Totally. So I want to explore this topic of financial communication and how it builds trust in any relationship, whether that be your family, your spouse, your friends. It really, in my opinion, builds trust when we talk about it.
Yeah, I agree.
There was actually a statistic I looked up from the National Endowment for Financial Education, and did you know that nearly 70% of couples argue about money? I thought that was pretty high.
I believe it.
Yes. So, financial trust is about feeling secure and transparent in any financial matters with others. And a common barrier includes that feeling of you're going to be judged or past experiences, and if you have different values about money. But
Yeah, for
also,
sure.
yeah, that's all stuff in the past. So the way I look at it, we're in the present and we just need to communicate and keep moving forward. And also, most times, the feelings of being judged and things like that isn't even true. Like, we create these stories in our mind basically that, oh, my partner is going to judge me for that $20,000 debt or credit card or whatever, whatever it is, we kind of freak our own selves out. And that's what stuns us from having the conversation. But most times, most cases, you have that conversation and you're completely shocked about their response because it wasn't the response you were expecting in your head.
Yeah, it's one of those scenes of like you can't hold someone to a contract you never told them about, right? So like you really don't know what someone's going to say or like how the conversation's going to go, but we so often think that we know how it's going to go, so we play it out in our own head and then they're like, "Well, it's not even worth talking about because this is how they're going to react." And it's not only unfair to your situation, it's super unfair to whoever it is that you need to have the conversation with.
Yeah, absolutely. And if the person doesn't react great or doesn't want to work through it with you, then rethink the relationship because that is a huge red flag.
Like we talked about 2 weeks ago. Check out that episode if you missed it.
Exactly. So, mistrust can lead to significant strain in relationships, both are personal and professional. And yeah, I just can't explain enough, like communication so important.
Yes. And if you're hiding spending habits or you're hiding debt and things like that, like it becomes a bigger issue, right? Because maybe it is just school debt and it's nothing to hide, but maybe it's an addiction. Maybe it's a gambling addiction. And that's something that is going to affect anybody else in the household. So while yes, it can be embarrassing, it needs to be out there. It needs to be a conversation in the household because if you're in a new relationship and you're taking someone else under your roof, they need to be aware that they need to keep their money separated from you, or that, at any time you might put them in a difficult situation of having to move because you can't pay the mortgage. Like that's something that's really important.
Yes. And after the discussion, if neither of you know really what to do or where to move forward, bring in that third party coach and get some coaching on your personal finances together. And that can honestly strengthen and build the relationship. Once Kalani and I started to like focus on our personal finance journeys, like we did our separate systems, but the conversations now are a whole lot easier. Um, Once like he's been spending a lot on credit cards for building his business, but he openly lets me know these things and we work out how to, pay off these credit cards because he's one of those where if there's a credit card deal with the zero APR for a year or 2 years or whatever, he's been like applying and using those to fund his business, which is it's great strategy because not getting charged that interest, but financial planning is key to make sure you pay off those cards before that time runs out.
For sure, yeah. Well, and that financial advisor, that coach could also be the third party that can help those conversations happen, right? Because so often, like one person will feel like they're being attacked, and the other person will feel like their partner's not putting in the same effort or something like that. So having that third perspective and that ability to be like, okay, well, hang on, like it's not that serious. Don't yell at your partner because they, buy coffee every day. Like let's scale it back and let's, handle this calmly. Can be super beneficial.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because some may be more direct while others are a lot more reserved when talking about finances. But active listening and empathy are crucial for productive conversations.
So common topics that we talked about before, of course, budgeting and spending habits are essential. Budgeting, of course, is essential, but also recognizing spending habits and spending black holes is incredibly important.
Yeah, goal setting too. Like we always mention, have your personal goals, but if you're in a relationship, definitely have those co-ed goals. And saving for your future needs is essential for long-term financial health. If your partner doesn't really have any goals for the future or planning for retirement savings, things like that, then definitely start talking about it or hire that third party to help you talk about it.
Yeah. And talk about it in the right setting, right? So we talked about this before, like don't go to a nice restaurant and then like start raving your partner about their spending habits. Like make sure you're in a comfortable, distraction-free place and somewhere where if things do get heated, it's not going to become an embarrassing like scene.
Exactly. Yeah, that can get so ugly. I've fallen into conversations at 4 times and it just doesn't feel good for anybody that's involved, especially like I've had friends around or family around and it's just not okay. Or right before bed, that ticks me off sometimes, like having those hard conversations right when you're trying to go to bed. It's just not fun.
Yeah.
And always, when discussing sensitive topics like this, approach it with care. And disagreements are natural. Focus on the solutions than the blame. When I got started on my personal finance journey, I quickly went to the blame game, blaming everything except myself for my spending. And that really didn't get me anywhere and put a lot of strain on my personal relationships. So, again, just open, receptive. You can disagree with each other, but don't focus on if the other person's doing anything wrong. Don't make anybody wrong. Nobody's wrong. We just want to find a solution and move forward to a better financial situation.
Yes. And of course, we talked about planning, budgeting, using tools, things like that. And then, of course, celebrating those milestones, right? Like small wins, we so often undervalue them, but they're so necessary for success.
Yes, you want to celebrate and, go on that date night, whatever. Just, be proud that you're having these open, honest conversations about money. Like that can really set your relationship off to success because money and money management is super important in our lives. Like we're going to need it no matter what. So stop hiding things and start talking.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
I want to keep this one short because a couple weeks ago I did red flags in relationships, and this one kind of tied into that one. So if you missed it, go back and watch it because
It's a good
these
one.
kind of correlate pretty well.
And
And
of course, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you think of anybody that can use this information, please share it with them.
yes, and I'd love to see your guys's financial communication tips on our social media or in the comments of this video.
Yes. And then next week, guys, we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into creating content buckets because we've talked about content buckets before, but how do you actually create them and plan your content properly?
Ooh, I like that one.